Right.
Okay. Hi, I'm Margaret. I'm Margaret. Hi. I'm Sandra. Sandra. I'm Lindsay.
I'm Brittany.
So today we're gonna talk to you guys about the CCE experience. So a little background on the CCE. It's basically, it stands for the cross-cultural experience, and it's basically like a vacation trip mixed with like a volunteering experience that you basically go on, and it's a Carroll graduation requirement, and it's just a fun and great cultural experience. So we're kind of gonna talk to you guys about like our individual CCEs that we went on. So the CCEs that I went on was I volunteered at Whittier Elementary School, which is an elementary school in Waukesha. And basically the process for applying, well, I had a huge like ride issue, so I didn't have a ride to like, go places, and I kind of knew that I didn't want to go abroad. So I chose to volunteer at Whittier. So basically the process was I went in and talked to a CCE coordinator at the CCE office, which is like the blue building next to Steel Hall. And I just went in, I filled out like a bunch of paperwork, so, a background check. I had to answer like learning objective questions. I filled out an itinerary table, and then that was basically like the gist of it. And it's actually a free CCE too as well, and public safety actually takes you and back, so that's like the good part. And so my experience, I volunteered for a third grade class at Whittier Elementary, and basically some of the tasks that I worked on was like I helped, the kids read, helped with their math problems, organize their like works into journals. Also, I helped out with their tech squad and their Whittier news team, and yeah, they also have this like really cool knitting culture part like with them where they like take time to like knit, and these kids are like 12 years old and they're really extremely good at knitting, and I just found that really cool because they actually like knit hats and everything, and they like send it to the nearby like hospitals, they like donate it, and I thought that was like really generous of like of a culture that they have. So how this experience applies to my life today, well, some of the cultural components that I kind of saw while I was there was, the class was basically mixed with a lot of different races. So I kind of saw like issues with race where, there was African American kids kind of like being discluded and like, teased at by like other kids. There was like gender ideologies that I saw where, these there's like population between, well, that's like a chart where I showed you like the population of like male versus female at Whittier Elementary. So there's these gender ideologies where like in my class where the girls kind of just like hung out with the girls and the guys were in a separate group. And I kind of thought, that it's kind of put into their heads through social media impact basically. Like social media is already like impacting them at a younger age just to like teaching them what's for girls and what's for guys. So like the girls during recess would just play with dolls, and like the guys would pick up a sport and like pick up a ball and like go play sports and stuff. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And like there was like issues with social class where like right when I got in, I kind of like I can see who's from like the poorer society and like who's from rich, where like kids who wear like Jordan and like basketball jerseys to class, they're kind of like they have like a home group kind of thing, and they kind of leave out the kids who are not as wealthy. And there's also this influence of technology there that I saw, where each kid has their own like tablet that they like play games on, they take tests on, and it's kind of they're always on their technology. So I kind of thought that was like interesting. It's like when I was in middle school, I didn't have anything like that. And as I mentioned, I was part of the tech squad at Whittier, so I kind of saw like kids working with new technology. So the picture over there is this like robot. It's called Ozobot, and it's basically like it follows the line of code that you kind of write. And I thought that was pretty cool because like these kids were introduced to it, but they were like already getting the hang of it, like writing code and everything. So that was really cool. Also, how I anticipate my experience to be like used and affected for my future. So this experience really like opened my eyes to like issues that exist today, like racism and the gap between rich and poor. And I believe this experience like made me recognize and identify issues with social class and racism in like a working environment for my future. And like I believe it kind of prepared me and like encourages me to like make a difference by subduing these issues and making my like future workplace like environmental friendly kind of thing. So as an IT major, I loved seeing that these kids were like all introduced to new technologies. So that kind of made me happy because like they're learning at a younger age to work with technology. So maybe they'll like pursue a career in the tech field like I did.
So I did something a little differently. I did what's called a self-study. So I designed like my own cultural experience, and even though I wanted to go on like trips, like a couple of these ladies did, I really couldn't afford it. So I volunteered at the Watertown Area Cares Clinic, and I was a certified nursing assistant there. And I helped with people who are in the Hispanic culture and people who are undocumented immigrants with healthcare. Um, so for my experience, I was a CNA, and I got to help them with healthcare. I did like the financial stuff as well. I did vitals as a nurse. Um, I like did like glucose monitors for people with diabetes. I helped with supplies. Like there's like so much to do in like around our cities today that we just don't know about. Um, so with that, I also helped in providing people for information on becoming a citizen. Because most people who come here are on student visas and they eventually want to stay. So I helped with the process of that. It's a very long process. It usually takes a very long time, but just providing information out there and communicating with them was one of the things. And I learned how to communicate and speak in Spanish. I took a class during my experience, and I also learned from Duolingo as well. So how this experience applies to my life today. So the culture elements that I faced were issues with race. There's a lot of stigmas behind different cultures that say that they're lazy, or they don't care about their education, or they only work because they have to. And that's not true at all. They're the most like hardworking individuals I've ever gotten to notice. Social class and financial resources, most of the people that I saw like work 2 or 3 jobs, which was very hard to see because if they like made just a little bit over like the poverty line, we couldn't see them. They had to go somewhere else. With low health outcomes in low income populations, so I saw people from like my little small town. They all came from this place called Dot Street. And that's where people go with like low income. They don't have the greatest life expectancy. They have to go to school resources for meals and stuff.